Welcome back to Paperback Ponderings. Today we are gonna talk about our April reads.
Yay!
These are, for me, all the books I read in April, and for Kyla, all the books she loved in April.
I didn't love all of them. I have, well, okay, yeah.
I do feel like we're making progress on the books that I am consuming, and they are becoming better in general. But yeah, I'm excited to see maybe the ones that you didn't love. Curious.
You're on an upward trend. Yeah, I didn't dislike anything. I didn't have any full 5 stars this month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you need to read one of my books because it was a hard 5, but
okay.
We'll get to that. As always, this episode is spoiler free. Just brief descriptions, our ratings, what it's rated on Goodreads, and what we thought about it without spoilers. So Kyla's going to take us away with her first book of April.
Okay, so the first book I read in April, this is also my top book of April. We're starting out strong here.
Nice.
I continued the Farseer trilogy with Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. This is book 2. And Royal Assassin currently has a 4.29 out of 250,000 ratings on Goodreads. To be honest, I'm surprised it's not more ratings just given how long this series has been out and how popular of a series it is. But then again, not everybody uses Goodreads, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, so Royal Assassin is book 2. The series starts with Assassin's Apprentice, which you may have seen. We do have a full podcast episode where we collaborated with another podcast, Spells from the Shelf, to talk about that in depth. So if you are curious, you can find more info there. But Assassin's Apprentice is kind of a slice of life fantasy following the young bastard Fitz Chivalry Farseer, who the story starts when he is 6 years old, but it's being told back from the perspective of him as an old man, recounting his life. So book 1 goes from about 6 to 15 years old. Book 2 follows him in his teen years. And really it's just him growing up on the royal keep grounds. He is living in the stables at first with the stable hand, eventually moves into the keep, but he has, because of his royal lineage, he has access to a magic known as the skill. So he spends some time being trained in using the skill, which is kind of like a mental magic where you can speak mentally to other people and sometimes control the things that they see. There's some mystery surrounding like what exactly the skill fully entails, but that's kind of the gist of it. And he also has access to another magic which is more taboo. It's called the wit, and it involves communication with animals. But yes, this is not a well advertised thing. This is something he keeps on the down low because people would see him as like an abomination, a beast man kind of thing if that were to come out. So yeah, the first book really just follows him in his life at the keep, kind of passively on his own doing his thing, but getting kind of a little bit swept up into royal politics and things as the king gives him the task of being a king's man and learning to become an assassin. He doesn't do a ton of assassinating in the first book, but like he trains to have yeah, 6 years old, assassinating. But he does train in the art of how to sneak around and how to accomplish things without other people knowing so that he can do his king's bidding. And so book 2 continues his life in the keep. There are some subtle changes, but the pace largely does stay the same. I absolutely loved it. Like, I don't even know what it is because it's hard because it's not one of those books that has like a super action-packed plot that just has you on the edge of your seat. But I never wanted to put it down. I was thinking about it when I wasn't reading it. Just something about this series has kind of clawed inside me and grabbed me by the heart. And Robin Hobb's characters they're so good. They're so intricate and deep. And it only gets deeper in book 2, and you have some new characters that are also introduced and getting deeper as well. The politics also slowly gets more and more intense as the book proceeds onward, and it's just like a slow, it almost sneaks up on you. Like, you don't realize how intense it's gotten until you're near the end and you're like, oh my god, like, how are we going to get out of this situation? So yeah, I am just fully invested in this world and very excited to continue. So I gave it 4.5 stars.
Surprising, because I feel like you've been really loving this series. I'm also just like, I love that you love this series so much, but I don't know like if I'm up there with you.
That's fair. I mean, I really don't think that it's for everyone. As much as I love it, like, I do think you have to be in the mood for it. I think if you're in the mood for a fast-paced book, or you don't know what you're getting into with this, you could be really thrown off. It's not a series that I would say to like every single person go and read it, but yeah, I hope that you'll read the second one. I hope that you'll eyeball read the second one, not by audio this time.
The thing is, I don't want to buy the books. Like, there's something I'm like really resisting buying books brand new right now.
Yeah. And
the only covers I will allow on my shelves of these books are the new covers.
Fair. The new covers are beautiful.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know how realistic it is to expect me to find the new covers secondhand.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not sure. Maybe I do need to eyeball read it to like be invested.
I think it could make a difference, especially with what you said with like how the audiobook of the first one is narrated by an older man, but you've got a 6-year-old boy as the character. I can see that just being kind of weird.
It was a little odd. But now he's an adult, so maybe it'll be better.
Maybe it will get better. There's just some things I really just, it sits with me. Like, I swear, as soon as I picked up the second book and read the first couple lines, I was like, we're back.
You're so funny. I think you like, you just love because this to me feels a little cozy.
It is, there is a level of comfort.
There's a cozy component to it.
Yeah.
It's a very comfortable setting.
Yeah.
And like lulling narrative.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a story tale.
Yes. Yeah, it does kind of feel like a storybook type thing. Not in a children's sense, but like just there's something like somebody is telling you a story, and that is the case because he is recounting his life. But
yeah,
I'm really curious because the second series in this like larger universe of books follows different characters in a different part of the world. So I'm really curious to see how the writing will change if it doesn't have that characteristic of being recounted from an older age. But yeah, I'm like fully invested here in Robin Hobb now. So
I love it. I love to see it. I love that you're like 100% invested in this. How magical.
So good. What was your first one of the month?
So my first book of the month was Morning Star by Pierce Brown. If you've been paying attention to the monthly wraps in general, Pierce Brown has like revived me. Absolutely just like revived me. I am having a resurgence of love for reading because of Pierce Brown. So thank you, Pierce Brown.
Shout out to Pierce.
Yeah, shout out to Pierce. The third book, of course, is a continuation of the second book, Golden Sun. And it's actually like an immediate continuation. There's some events that happen in Golden Sun that are quite shocking. And there was a bit of a time jump between Red Rising, the first book in the series, and Golden Sun. So I was a little bit concerned that there would be a big jump between Golden Sun and Morning Star because Pierce likes his jumps. There wasn't. We got right into the action. Like, we got right into, well, there was a bit of a jump, but you still get the context that you need to understand what went down post events of Golden Sun. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. For anyone who has not heard of Red Rising or isn't sure, Morning Star, so the third book in the series, is at a 4.55 out of 430,000 ratings All of the books in this series are in the 4 category. They are all the 4.25 to 4.5 bar. So very highly rated books. I gave this one a 5-star. I was like, yep,
Yay.
That was a good one. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in one weekend. I was absolutely just like obsessed with it. Red Rising ultimately is a YA, or it was YA. I'm not sure if it maintains its YA status moving through life, but it was a YA story that followed Darrow, who is a red living on Mars. And he is a hell diver who essentially is a laborer living on Mars, getting Mars ready to save the world because Earth is dying and the humans need somewhere to go. So the Reds have been told this lie for their entire lives. It drives their purpose. And then one day our main character, 16-year-old Darrow, finds out that it is all a lie and humanity has already come to Mars. They're just the bottom of the totem pole who keeps humanity moving on Mars. And a series of events leads him to infiltrating the Gold Society. And the Golds are the top of the totem pole. They are the most powerful in the society. And Darrow says, you know what? F that. I'm going to give them a little dose of their own medicine. So he infiltrates the kind of like coming of age ritual that Golds in the society go through, which is the institute, where they're tested and trialed on their political prowess, their physical prowess, their intelligence, their politics, their ability to survive and thrive in a society with no law. So it's very cool. It's very fun. Kyla and I did talk about Red Rising, our entire, like all of our feelings about Red Rising in a whole in a whole episode. If you have listened to it, it's half spoilers, half not spoilers. So if you want like the full rundown of what goes on and both of our thoughts on Red Rising, definitely check that out. But Morningstar was just everything I could have asked. I honestly can't remember now what happened in it. But the feelings that I felt were very real and very good. I was very pleased. And I had to physically stop myself from reading the next book because I knew that if I tried to read the next book, I would fall into the abyss a little bit.
So do you feel like Morningstar ended on a satisfying ending, because this was supposed to be originally a contained trilogy? Is it like, are there cliffhangers? Are there threads left open?
There's no cliffhangers per se. Like, it could end here and be done. There are a little bit of moments or elements that are slightly dissatisfying.
Okay.
/ that you want more information of.
Okay.
Because you really only see up until their like immediate purpose is fulfilled. But yeah, it definitely concludes this arc. There's a nice conclusion. It felt a little bit like fairy book ending and slightly rushed at the end. But overall, I do think like you could finish here and never come back to it and like be fine. I know people who have. I have a good friend who only read the first part of the trilogy. And then her partner is now reading it and he's like obsessed and he's already shot past her. And she's like, I'll come back to it, but I can't drop in at Iron Gold. Like I have to go back to the beginning. And
oh, she has to start over.
She has to start over because she read them like 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I have a friend who finished Morningstar and was like, you know what? I'm okay with where we're at for now. Like, I think he's partially not ready for the heartbreak that is supposedly to come in the next arc of the series. But yeah, I've heard of people doing that. So
yeah. And it is like you definitely could pause. I did. I don't feel like I need to rush in or there's something that like is pulling me back to it. Other than, of course, I just like love the characters.
Do you think you'll get to Iron Gold this next month?
I don't know if I'll come back to it this month, but I do feel like I want to finish the series before the end of the summer.
Okay.
So maybe I know myself, and if I'm really enjoying it, I'm not going to want to put it down. And if it's disappointing in any way, I'm going to be I'm going to have a hard time with it, and it's going to ruin like the love that I have a little bit.
Okay.
You know?
Probably too, like, because it's so bingeable, proceeding to read it as the summer goes on might be good because we'll have less podcast reading obligations. So you'll really be able to just dedicate your time to it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thought process too.
Well, very exciting. I plan to read Morningstar this coming month, May.
I can't wait for you to read it. This is the 5-star that I was like, maybe you need to read this so you can get a 5-star.
Yes. You know what? I am envisioning it to be a 5-star. So we've already got one locked and I haven't even read it yet.
It's a good time. Oh, it's so good. I wish I could read all of these books again for the first time. But alas, there's other books to consume now.
But you know what? You can do them on audio for the first time and have it be kind of a different experience because of the narrator.
That's true.
So
good. But I do wonder if I would like the audio because he sounds a little bit cocky, like arrogant sometimes in the snippets that I've listened to.
Yes. Yeah, because the snippets people use online are like those kind of epic moments where he is very confident. I think he's like slightly cocky in general in a lovable way, but
yeah, he's not a meek little bean or anything.
No. And also, like, in my mind when I read the books, he's not Irish. So hearing the audiobook have the accent throws me off a little bit, but
yeah, that's incredibly fair.
Yeah.
That's incredibly fair. What's next for you?
Next up for me, I read an arc of An Arcane Study of Stars by Sydney J. Shields. This was the author of The Honey Witch, which you may be familiar with. An Arcane Study of Stars. So it just came out April 28th, actually. So it still has a pretty small number on Goodreads. We've got a 3.95 out of 516 ratings so far, but I'm sure that will continue to climb as now that the book's officially out in the world. So An Arcane Study of Stars follows a girl named Claudia. It's set in England in a slightly older time period. I'm bad with knowing what time periods are which, but
not this time period.
Not this time period. No, like our girl is being forced into an arranged marriage with an old man to pay off her father's gambling debts. And so in kind of her desperation, her mother has passed away, but her mother was really into astrology and celestial stuff. And so she's always felt really drawn to it as well. And she finds a book in an old bookstore that is like an admission book for Cygnus University, which she has never heard of before, but she applies to go to this university and study celestial magic. And she's hoping that this is going to be her ticket out of the kind of hell that she's about to have to live by marrying some creepy old man. Only she gets rejected from the university, and they tell her that celestial magic doesn't exist anymore. Like, that's no longer a discipline of study at the university, and goodbye kind of thing. And so she ends up making a bargain with kind of a devil figure, like he's trapped in the stars. He's been trapped in the stars for a century. She thinks of him as like a devil of sorts, but he's kind of this mystical being. And she makes a bargain with him that he will get her into the university in exchange for her freeing him from the prison of stars that he's been trapped in for 100 years. And so they go through with this bargain, and she starts to attend this university. She's studying rhetoric. And the magic system in this is really cool. It is dark academia, and it's a cool magic system where, for example, in the rhetoric classes, it's very kind of philosophy based, but they learn how to use language, and like the specific way they put language together, they're able to turn that into like a magic, channeling magic from that god. And then there's like the music department where the songs that they put together channel magic in a different way from that god. And yeah, so it is really cool. And she continues to study the celestial magic on the side, even though it's kind of forbidden and it doesn't really exist anymore. But the old celestial magic wing is still there, so she's sneaking in at night and stuff because she needs to free this guy from the stars. The celestial magic that she works on is very cool as well. She does have like a bit of a romance developing with a rival in her classes. He is kind of your classic rich boy who is haughty and, you know, used to being the best in the class and stuff. And so all of a sudden she's challenging him. So it is a rivals to lovers romance with a surprising appearance of a bit of a BDSM element to it, which I didn't see coming, but we've got a bit of a dominance thing going on. I was pleasantly surprised to come across that. Actually, I was like, oh,
okay,
hello.
Okay, Sydney.
Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more.
Let's explore this.
Yeah. But she also has a pet snake. So if you're into that, like, I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah, it was. So yeah, so this one, Dark Academia, Rivals to Lovers, a bit of dom sub situation, mild, like nothing crazy, but it's there a little bit. And then you've got like a bit of a found family thing, but your classic Dark Academia, like losing your mind a little bit, like not sure what's real, and, you know, seeing visions and people out to get you and trying not to get murdered and stuff. Because actually the person whose place she replaced at the school as a student, the last girl, was murdered. So she also believes that...
Okay, important detail.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that part. There's a lot going on. Yes. So the last girl was murdered. Turns out she was a celestial witch too. Like, she was studying rhetoric as well, but she was like one of these secret, still existing celestial witches. And Claudia is as well. And so Claudia thinks that somebody might be out there killing the celestial witches. And so she's worried that she herself is going to get murdered as well. So there's that whole, like, she's always looking over her shoulder kind of thing and trying to solve the last girl's murder as well on the side of her studies and her bargain fulfilling. So
yes, I do remember. This is striking a memory now for me. I do remember talking about this.
Yeah, it was in our radar. Yeah,
cool. I love it.
Yeah, it was a fun one. I gave it 4 stars in the end. It was a fun story. So it's a standalone, which I think is worth noting. Sometimes it's nice to have a standalone. I do think it had the potential to be a series. Like, she could have definitely done more, but it was wrapped up nicely. If you're looking for a Dark Academia standalone book, this is a really solid one. I had a fun time reading it. It wasn't perfect for me. There were some things that so it's an adult genre, but I felt the second half started to give me some YA vibes in certain scenarios. Like, it went from rivals to you're the love of my life pretty quickly once the barrier kind of flipped, which makes sense because it's a standalone and you're trying to get from A to B in one book. So that's one area I think maybe a series would have served it a little bit better, so that we weren't going like, you're the love of my life, like, immediately. Yeah. I definitely guessed. There was like 3 twist moments, and I guessed 2 out of the 3 of them. So not that they weren't good twists. They were, but I saw them coming a little bit. And I felt a little bit like the final conflict was giving me like Scooby-Doo gang vibes against the evil person. So...
Oh, you know how I feel about that.
I know. It wasn't really like a mwahaha villain as much, but well... But yeah, I was getting a little bit Scooby-Doo gang vibes.
But I love how that's the like very unacademic way that we now describe books that end this way.
Yeah. I can't think of a better way.
I don't even know what a better way to describe it is.
No, I like our way.
I like our way too.
Yeah. But like, other than that though, I did have a fun time reading it.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Next on my list, well, it's 2 books, actually. This month, I was able to finish the Drowned Gods trilogy. Kyla had read Stranger Skies, the middle book, when it came out, like, last year. And we recently got Infinite Shores, which is the conclusion of the trilogy. It came out end of April, so very exciting. Or was it middle of April?
Early April. I think it was April 7th.
Oh, okay. So it's had some time to percolate a little bit with the people, with the masses.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, but Kyla and I were able to finish Infinite Shores. I snuck in Stranger Skies. It was a good time. For anyone who has not heard of this series, the Drowned Gods trilogy, the first book is called Curious Tides. And it follows Emery, who is a student at Aldrin College for Lunar Magics. And in this world, your magic is based entirely on the position of the moon when you were born. So you inherit the magic of that lunar phase. If you were born on the waxing moon, you might have sower powers where you can grow plants. If you're born on the waning moon, you might have reaper powers and other things. So there's a very robust and rich magic system that we're operating with. So we start with Emery's second year, who is a healer from the house New Moon. And she is starting the year off at a little bit of a disadvantage. Kind of shittily, because at the end of her first year, her best friend was involved in a tragic accident that is assumed fatal, where a group of students did not come out alive and could not be found at the end of the year. So in the caves of Dovermere is where they assumedly met their rest. And she is beginning her second year wondering what happened, how her best friend found herself in the Dovermere Sea Caves, and what might have been at play to draw her to this setting with the people that she was with. She doesn't understand why her best friend was there in the first place. So in an attempt to find her best friend, she infiltrates a secret society to learn more about what happened with her best friend. And she enlists her best friend's brother, Baz, who is our male main character, to help her search out the answers she is looking for. Now, happening in tandem with this storyline is the storyline of Emery developing weird new powers that she's never had before and navigating how to control and manipulate these powers and keep them hidden from the people, because it's really freaking weird that she's just randomly developed all of these powers. So we've got a story of secret societies, mystery, magic, romance, potentially. There's a lot that goes on there, but we expand the world beyond Aldrin College quite significantly with the second and particularly the third books. And it becomes just like this whole big, robust world that I didn't see coming. It was quite a treat to get back into this world.
Yes. Yeah, it takes off from book one and goes in unexpected directions that are really fun. Beautiful prose, beautiful magic system.
Beautiful storytelling as well. Felt like it was just so magical.
Yeah, it was really nice to be back in the series. I do think I would like to reread all of them, like down the line a little bit, give some space from this current read, but it is one that I want to come back to in the future just because it's such a beautiful world with so much going on that it's a fun series.
Absolutely, yeah. And I do think it would be fun to like consume them all kind of at the same time. It just felt like, I know I'm overusing the word magical here, but it felt magical. Like it just felt like I was in a different world. And obviously you're in like fantasy world, so that's a thing. But it did feel very poetic, beautiful. It was a beautiful series.
Yeah, I think like there's fantasy and then there's magical fantasy, and I think there is a difference. And if somebody was looking for a magical book, this is one that I would recommend. Like it's just as magical on the inside as it is on the covers. And if you've seen the covers, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen them, look them up right now because they are like the most beautiful covers I have probably ever seen.
Mm-hmm. It felt kind of like an epic. There was just like so much going on, so many storylines, so many twists and turns that you kind of take through the series, and it felt very shocking that this was the author's first published series, and just that she was able to keep it all together. Like there was a lot going on, not in an overwhelming way, but just in a really intricate world building and plot development that happened. I feel like I'm noticing a trend this month of just like epic, proper fantasies that we're leaning into, which is kind of fun, which takes us to your next book. I'm very curious about your next book. This one surprised me. I was like, what? This is so random. Tell me about your book.
Quite random, I know. So I read The Hobbit for the first time in my life. I know I'm late to the party, but here I am. So my boyfriend actually is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and he has been trying to get me to read The Hobbit for years now, and I keep saying like, yeah, one day, like I'll get to it. It's just I have other books on the TBR. And so this year I promised him that I would read it by his birthday. And that was part of my birthday present to him. I'm finally reading The Hobbit. And you know what? I liked it way more than I expected. Not that I didn't expect to like it, but I was never, I didn't grow up with Lord of the Rings. And so I don't have that kind of nostalgia, just like love for it that a lot of other people do. I like the movies. I enjoyed them. But some people are really diehard. And so I was kind of like, yeah, like I'm sure The Hobbit's going to be good. But I read it and I was like, this was actually so fun. So The Hobbit has a 4.3 out of 4.5 million ratings on Goodreads, which is wild. You probably already know what it's about, but in case you didn't, because honestly, I didn't, like I knew it was about Bilbo, but who is a Hobbit. But I honestly knew nothing about what the plot was. I have not seen the Hobbit movies. So for anybody who is like me and didn't know, basically it's an adventure tale. It's a journey where at the beginning Gandalf the wizard comes to Bilbo in the Shire, he's a hobbit, along with a bunch of dwarves who are going on a quest to recover the gold and just like homeland mountain of the dwarves from years ago, since it was attacked by a dragon who killed all the dwarves in the mountain and is now hoarding a bunch of gold there. So the dwarves are on a quest to take back their mountain, and they have recruited Bilbo to help them on their journey. And so it's them making their way across the land and running into problems with different types of beings. Like they run into goblins and they have to kind of fight their way out of that situation. You meet Gollum for the first time, which was so fun. Gollum is personally my favorite character from the Lord of the Rings movies. So loved that. They come across trolls and spiders in a forest and elves, and it's just a really fun journey. I read part of it, but also went back and forth between the audiobook. Highly recommend the audiobook. So it is narrated by Andy Serkis, who voices Gollum in the Lord of the Rings movies, and he has like the Gollum voice in the audiobook, as well as voices for all the characters. And so for like the dwarves, he's got the gruff Scottish brogue and the wise old man voice for Gandalf and stuff, and like just all the characters have a different voice, and it was a performance. Like this man deserves an award for that audiobook. I'm not even joking.
He did get an award for that audiobook.
I wonder, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but like highly recommend it. Even if you're just like, yeah, I have nothing to listen to, like this was such a fun time.
I could see myself picking up the audio or like listening to the audiobook. My exposure to The Hobbit, I read it in high school, and I remember feeling very disenchanted with Tolkien because of the like rambling narrative that can happen sometimes. I really struggled with like the descriptions and just like the really elaborate, huge descriptions of things. Like I remember reading it and there was like 6 pages to describe the mountain. And I was like, bro, chill. Like, it's a mountain. I don't need 6 pages. Give me like 2 max.
Yeah.
Describing a mountain. We've all seen mountains before.
So Andy Serkis really helps with that in his narration. Like it and because with The Hobbit specifically, it's told from the point of view of like a narrator. It's not from Bilbo's point of view. So the narrator often addresses the reader directly and stuff. So it feels very much like somebody is reading you a story.
Yeah, I do think it would be a lot better maybe as an audiobook, and also maybe like easier to get, like a casual library hold, you know?
Yes, probably, yeah. I actually I have never had any interest in reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like the main trilogy, just because I've heard that about them, that they're really dense in writing, like more so than in The Hobbit. But because of Andy Serkis's narration in The Hobbit, he does those audiobooks as well. Like I actually now want to listen to them because I want to hear his rendition.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. This really made an impact for you.
It did. Yeah.
That's so fun. Well, I'm glad that you read it. I'm like so surprised. I was like, what? So random.
I know it came out of nowhere, but my time was running out. I kept being like, oh yeah, lots of time to read it before his birthday, and then all of a sudden his birthday was like right around the corner, and I was like, oh no.
Like, oh no, we must get this done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've never been a Lord of the Rings fan, not for a lack of trying, and maybe I would have a different experience with the books, but I always, without fail, fall asleep during the movies.
Okay.
I have never made it out of the first movie. I always fall asleep.
That's funny.
And I've tried maybe 6 times. Like, this isn't like, oh yeah, I tried it twice and I fell asleep. Like, no, I've tried.
Interesting.
I can't keep my eyes open. I can't follow, like, what's going on. I don't know what it is about it, but I just, like, go to sleep. It might be a conditioned response. Like, maybe because my brothers would want to watch it. Growing up, we had a TV in our van for like road trips.
Yeah.
And there was 2 of them and 1 of me. So they'd outvote me. And they'd always want to watch like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whatever. So I would just go to sleep.
It could be conditioned.
It could be a condition. Now I'm literally actively having this realization, but it could be a conditioned response.
Yeah.
Like falling to sleep in the car.
Yeah. Well, I also think like, okay, from somebody else who is not a huge Lord of the Rings mega fan, I always have thought like the movies don't do a fantastic job of explaining everything to somebody who doesn't know already what's going on, and they don't know the lore of the world and like the history of the ring and everything. Like, I never found like I fully understood all of the details, and so it could be that too, like just that they are pretty old movies too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or old looking, at least on screen.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Now it's wild to like go and watch them and see how technology has advanced. I mean, and it was like groundbreaking for its era.
Yeah.
But you look at them and you're like, oh, this is definitely straight out of the like 90s.
Yeah.
2000s.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gotta love it. What is next for you, Miss Kyla?
So this one is for both of us, actually.
Right.
Sarah and I both read The Sun-Blessed Prince by Lindsay Bird. We just interviewed her on the podcast, so if you are interested to hear more about what she had to say, go check out that interview because it's already live. But yeah, so we read The Sun-Blessed Prince in preparation for that interview, and if you are not familiar with it, well, first of all, The Sun-Blessed Prince has a 3.92 out of 631 ratings on Goodreads, and if you haven't heard of it before, it follows Prince Elysian, who is a giver. So he has healing and resurrection magic, and his whole country is kind of sun-based. It's a sun and life-based country that is at war with a moon and death-based country but next door. And so he's on the battlefront fighting the good fight, and one day he is attacked by a reaper from the opposite side, so from the moon side, and reapers kill with a single touch. Only because Elysian is a giver, the reaper can't kill him. And so he was sent there to assassinate him and failed, obviously. And because Elysian can't just let this reaper go to hurt other people with his touch, he decides to bring him to a place within his kingdom where givers and reapers are kept in kind of a safe, like it's a community that lets them live in safety for themselves and others. And he's a good guy, and even though this guy tried to kill him, he's not like, let's put him to death. He's like, let's bring him to this town
oasis.
This
basically a like dressed up asylum, really. It felt like.
Yeah, it is a little bit kind of like institution vibes, but it seemed like a pretty peaceful place to live. Like if I was a reaper, I would be pretty satisfied with that existence, I think.
I do love my gold gilded cage.
So Elysian and the Reaper, his name is Kat, and Elysian's best friend, Leo, they set out on this journey to deliver Kat to this institute area. And it kind of just follows, like the story does expand from there, and I don't want to get too into spoilers, but we do have a third POV, so we get Elysian, Kat, and Elysian's adopted sister's point of view. Because you have this very opposing life-giving and life-taking magic, there are a lot of discussions and lessons around kind of the morals and learning to understand that like just because somebody has a killing magic, you know, yes, that can cause harm, but it doesn't only cause harm. Like there's a lot of benefit and beauty out of that kind of magic as well. Just like healing magic is not always kind of the perfect solution you might think it to be. So there's a lot of philosophical discussions and kind of life lessons that I really thought were super interesting.
Yeah, I did too.
It was also cool to see, like, because you have these two societies that are at war with each other, and both of them have givers and reapers, and they deal with their givers and reapers in very different ways. So like we talked about this kind of golden cage situation in the Sun Kingdom, but in the Moon Kingdom, reapers are like very much imprisoned in not golden cages, but like
actual cages
kind of thing. So yeah, it's just really interesting to see the juxtaposition of the two societies and how they choose to treat people. It is a slow burn queer romance as well. Emphasis on the slow burn. Like it is much more of a political fantasy, I would say, with a bit of slow burn romance on the side, and I think that does develop into book 2. But yeah, it was fun.
It was such a fun book, and I did enjoy the like politics of it. It was a great reflection of society and how we treat the other.
Yes,
I thought, which I didn't expect, and it was probably intentional. But I didn't really expect it to be that way. I didn't expect it out of this story. So it was really fun to have something that just prompted a little deeper thought and a little deeper consideration for how society handles the people who are not like them, what fear can come from that, and persecution or prejudice might come from the fear of the other. So it was fun. It was good. Great book. Everyone read it.
Actually, now that I think about it, that was kind of a theme this month, I guess, because the Curious Tide series is also very big in looking at how society treats the other. That there's fear and prejudice towards. So that's 2 books we read this month.
Yeah.
That dealt with that very well. Both of them did it in a really interesting way.
Yes, I agree. Look at fantasy. Just breaking, not stereotypes. Breaking my mind.
Breaking our minds, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a trend. We love to see it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We love talking about books, and we love talking about all the books we loved in April. So if you hung around, we hope that you didn't add too much to your TBR, and that we catch you next week. If you would like to engage with us, as always, check us out on Instagram at paperback.ponderings, and we'll catch you next week.